Yeah, Friday. You have reached episode 14 of the Ranting Weight Watcher. I am your host, Donato Russo. How's everybody doing today? It is Black Friday here in the United States. I don't know if Black Friday is everywhere. I wonder if that's a thing everywhere. Day after Thanksgiving. And I wonder how everyone did. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Did you have a really good Thanksgiving? I had a great Thanksgiving. And I made my plan, and I stuck to my plan. That's all I can say about it. Now, whether or not that translates to a loss, that's another thing to be said. But I made a game plan. I tracked all my food on the Monday, actually. The Monday before Thanksgiving, I tracked my food, had it all planned out, what I was going to eat, when I was going to eat it, how I was going to eat it. And I did it. This is your first time here. Please, if you enjoy the show, like, share, comment, subscribe. If the podcast app you're listening to me on allows you to rate the show, please give a 4-star, 5-star rating, whatever's in your heart to give. Now let's get into it. Journey updates. Well, on my last weigh-in, this week, nothing changed. Stayed the same this week, so no loss. This happens all the time. I have a week where the huge loss, like 4 pounds, and the next week is little to nothing, and sometimes a gain. In this case, it stayed the same. So sometimes that's a win in its own right, and I guess I can look at it that way. I don't like looking at it that way, but I'll admit, hey, I've told many people, hey, it's a positive thing. It didn't go up. I've said that to many people, so I got to practice what I preach, So everything else stays the same. My total loss up to today is 110 pounds down. I am 8.6 pounds away from being 277 pounds. I am 15 pounds away from the minus 125 milestone of Weight Watchers. And the distance to my goal is still 90 pounds away. So, it's easy to deliver that information when nothing changes, right? But hey, not every week can be a great week. If there's not bad weeks or okay weeks, you can't appreciate the great weeks. So let me get to my topic for today. NSVs. Now, what is an NSV? Non-scale victories. A non-scale victory is like, when you notice that the scale didn't move that week, but your pants are bigger on you. They don't, you need a belt now, right? Or a shirt that used to be tight on you, no longer tight on you. And it's something you notice, And why are they? I'm going to talk about a little bit why they're important, why they're not important, or what could make them not important. But first, I want to take a break. So stick with me. We're taking a break right now. Hi, everyone. I'm Donato Russo, and I am the Ranting Weight Watcher. I would love it if we can connect on social media. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, look me up at The Ranting Weight Watcher. If you're on Twitter, at The Ranting WW. If you're already on Weight Watchers and you want to connect in the Connect app, search for at Ranting Weight Watcher. If you'd like to email the show, share your successes, share your failures, share your story in general, send me an email at therantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. Most of all, if you're enjoying the show, please like it, share it, comment, and subscribe. Now, back to the show. And we are back. So we're going to talk a little bit today about non-scale victories. How they can help on your journey. I'm going to tell you about a non-scale victory I had this week. A Saturday. We were going out to dinner. I was getting ready. I bought these jeans, I don't know, like before COVID began. I had rarely gotten to wear them because in Florida, there's very little need to actually wear jeans. And sometimes you wear them and you don't actually need to wear them. You know, and it's a little warm, but you're uncomfortable, but you wanted to wear jeans, kind of a deal. And that was the situation I was in. Now, I knew the jeans were a little loose on me, so I needed a belt. I knew that going into it. So I grabbed my belt, I grabbed the jeans, I put the jeans on, I put the belt on. Now I go to pull the belt tight, and I can't find the hole. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? Whatever. So I happen to look down and I realize I'm past the last hole on the belt and it's still not tight enough. And it was a great feeling, man. I'll tell you, it is a great feeling to say the belt is too big. I almost feel like it's better than when the pants are too big, right? So that at some point I'm going to have to buy one of those leather hole punches and add some more holes to this belt, or buy a new belt. One of the two. I may buy the leather hole punch because I don't want to buy a new belt and then have to buy another new belt and another new belt, whatever. So I think I'll buy a leather hole punch and we'll add some holes to this belt until it looks like completely obnoxious having this long tail. Unless I can cut it. Maybe I can cut the end so it doesn't look so obnoxious. And I don't know, whatever I can do. I don't know what I can do. But we'll do something. We'll give it a shot. And if I end up having to buy another belt, then I end up having to buy another belt. Whatever it is, right? But yes, this felt good. This felt like a great thing to happen to me. It was a great day, you know. We were going out to dinner, and it was a great feeling to go out to dinner knowing the belt is now too big for me. But I never liked, I'm probably going to make some enemies here today. And it's okay, but I am who I am. That's all I can be, right? I am what I am. But I don't like non-scale victories. And I rarely acknowledge them. I've had many since I began, but I rarely acknowledge them. I just don't like them. I don't like them because it's feelings based. And I don't like dealing with feelings because feelings lie. Okay? I deal in facts. The weight, the number you get when you step on a scale, that's a fact. That's it. It is what it is. That's the number. Deal with it, right? Whether you like it or not, when you step on the scale, that's the number. Deal with it, right? And I can do that. Up, down, whatever it is, I can do that. Because that's a measurement that is it's a data point that I can write down. I can, keep track of. What does it? What is what I feel going to help me with anything? It doesn't. Your feelings lie to you on a regular basis. This is how I feel. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. But your feelings lie to you. And there's a thin line, a very, very thin line between facts and feelings, right? And so when there are no facts to show your work, people start dealing in their feelings. And remember, I said your feelings can lie to you. And, there's always the person that can say, oh, I didn't lose any weight this week, but I feel really good. What does that really mean? You feel really good. Your goal is, right? What's the goal of being on Weight Watchers, on WW? Yes, you have this number in your head you want to achieve. Wonderful, right? But the real goal of it all, the whole thing, the big master goal, is to get to a point where you're no longer paying Weight Watchers to go, right? When you reach that point, what is that called? Lifetime? When you reach lifetime, you no longer have to pay Weight Watchers to use their app, to show up to meetings, whatever it is. You don't have to pay anymore. So that's the real goal. I mean, that's my goal at least. It's not just a number on a scale. It's to be able to say, I no longer pay Weight Watchers to be here. I achieved every level I wanted to achieve, and now I'm at a point where I do this for free. And that's what I'd like to be able to say at some point. And my feelings aren't going to get me to that day. And you guys are probably wanting to beat the crap out of me right now, but it's okay. It's okay. I got to be the devil's advocate. I got to be the guy who talks about the unpopular feelings, the unpopular thing to say. Because you know what? There are plenty of people that feel the same way I do. They're just not voicing it. I am their voice. I'm the one who's willing to say, listen, there's only so many times you can pull I feel good when the scale isn't moving. There's only so many times you can pull that off before the world starts wondering, what are you really doing? I mean, you're sharing this with your friends, right? Now, anybody on the weight loss plan with you is going to understand you have a couple of bad weeks, you hit a plateau, whatever it is, because they're in it, right? But everybody else in your life, all of the people who just understand you're on a weight loss journey, when they stop seeing the scale move, they're not thinking that anymore. They're not looking at, plateau, this and that. They don't want to understand this stuff. They don't want to hear all of the things it could be. No, they just know it as basic mathematics. You eat less, you exercise more, you lose weight, right? And I mean, whatever. It's not their job to understand your journey. And it's not your job to make them understand it. So it's a balance, right? But there's going to be a certain point where people are looking at you and they want to see the fruit of your labor. I mean, you could plant a tree and you can do all this stuff. You could do fertilizer. You can water it every day. But 10, 15 years from now, if you don't got an apple, if you don't have a single apple, you did something wrong. I'm sorry, you can't say you did it all right if no apples are coming from the tree. Maybe you planted it in the wrong place. It's still something you did wrong. Maybe the tree got enough sunlight to survive, but not enough sunlight to make you fruit because of where you planted it. I'm going off on a tangent here, but you get what I'm saying. The people in your life are going to want to see results. And there's only so long you can say the scale is not moving. And, everybody has that feeling when the scale stops moving and you have to look at everybody in the eye, everybody who knows you're on the journey, who checks in with you at the end of every week when they know you weighed in, they know you stepped on the scale, and they all want to know, they all want to get the updates. What did you lose? Did you lose? And when you tell them, no, I didn't lose this week, I stayed the same, I gained, whatever it was, there's this sound of disappointment. Oh, okay. But, I mean, again, it's not our job, on the people on the journey, it's not our job to make them understand how weight loss really works, because there's this preconceived notion of how weight loss works. And then there's what actually is. And unless you're actually in the battle, you don't know what that notion is. You don't know what it actually is. I'm sorry. If you're listening to me and you think you know, you don't know. Especially when you're talking about obesity and everything else like that. And if you're not someone who's ever struggled with weight, you don't know. Simple as that. Being healthy all your life, you fail to appreciate the work involved. Sometimes you could just take it as, for granted. You've been healthy all your life. Hey, how hard could it be? I haven't done much, and look at me, But what do they know? What can they do? So what are things that we can do? Because if I won't deal in feelings, if I refuse to deal with my feelings of how I feel about a non-scale victory, because I do. I refuse to acknowledge them at all costs because I feel like it's false success. It's not measurable success unless it's something obvious like the belt is too big for my waist. That's obvious. But saying someone, I didn't lose this week, but I feel good. It's not obvious. That's just a feeling. That's all it is. Right? And all of us has said that. All of us have said it at some point on our journey. Because really, it's like you have nothing else to say. If you either know you did something wrong and that's why you're dealing with what you're dealing with, or you did everything right and you want to pull your hair out and you're doing everything in your ability to not rip the guy's face off that asked you. Because you don't want to talk about it. You're in a different place, and the last thing you want to do is talk about why. It's like talking to the head coach of the losing team on a Super Bowl at the end of the Super Bowl. Nobody wants to talk to the press at the end of the Super Bowl if you lost. They love the press if you won, but nobody wants to talk to them if you lost. But what are some things we can do so that we can look to these things when it comes to the scale not moving? Now, one of the things we can do is take measurements. Have our measurements taken, waist, chest, arms, whatever, and keep track of these numbers. Because at some point, if the scale's not moving, at least you have something to refer to. You just take your measurements again, however many weeks later, and it's another measure point. It's another data point to acknowledge success. And that way, when you're walking in and say, I didn't have a loss this week, but I dropped 5 inches around my waist in the last 3 months, and I'm feeling good about that. That is different than just saying, I feel good. Right? So we take measurements, we keep track of those measurements, we write them down, whatever you got to do in a phone app, whatever it is. If you want to keep a journal of some sort, you keep it down and you write it. But there is one more thing we can do, and it's called an in-body scan. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. An in-body scan is like a modified scale. Okay? So you go to wherever they have this special scale. And if you want to buy a scale that can do this, I think they're like, I don't know, some crazy amount of money. I think I saw one on eBay once for like $1,400 just because I was interested in seeing, and it was used on top of it, right? So it wasn't just like it was this brand new thing, but they wanted $1,400 for a used scale. So, okay, that's out of the question. Buying one is out of the question. But the scale itself is different because when you step on the scale, it has metal plates, right? And you make sure your foot is in certain areas so it touches these metal plates. And then there's two wands that come off of the top. And it's like this pole that comes up and it has a screen that's going to tell you your weight. And off of that screen is going to be two wands to the left and right. And you grab those wands with your hand. And you hold the metal contacts on those wands. And so this scale doesn't just tell you your weight, obviously. It tells you body fat percentage. It tells you where you carry your fat, which I thought was interesting when I did that. It'll say, oh, you carry, like for me, for instance, it said something about 19 pounds was in each arm. I carry 19 pounds of weight in my arm. I don't know if that's muscle or fat or what. I can't remember now because this was a long time ago. And I haven't been back since, and I probably should, just to see the difference. It tells you where you carry your weight. It tells you how you carry your weight. And most of all, it'll tell you X amount of muscle gained and X amount of fat lost. So when the scale isn't moving and you go to have one of these in-body scans done, all of a sudden you know, okay, the scale's not moving because I gained muscle mass from the last time I was here. And so now you have another data point to go to someone and say, no, you know what? The scale's not working, but it's good. It's good. Check this out. Check out this report I got on an in-body scan. And that's what it does. Once it's done, you hit print, and then you get this whole report about what's going on in your body. And it's measurable data. Something you can say, the scale's not moving, but look at this. And the same thing with the weight, your waist measurements, your arm measurements, leg measurements, whatever it is. Same thing. The scale's not moving, but look at this. And that's what we really want. We just want to be able to say, I'm making progress. We got to do whatever it is that keeps us going. The worst thing we can do is allow ourselves to be frustrated and have no data points and go based on our feelings. Because eventually your feelings are going to say, you're not doing this. You should just quit now. And do you really want to listen to your feelings when you start hearing that voice? I say you should not. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that voice. Would I have gotten to 110 pounds lost if I ever listened to that voice? No. And it's the whole reason I gained the weight back. I got to 277 from my gastric bypass surgery. And over the next 15 years, I gained the majority of the weight back. All because I'm listening to feelings. I feel good. So it's okay if the scale's not moving. And then the scale moves in the wrong direction. You're like, well, it's not too much. So you keep going, and the scale moves up a little higher. Oh, it's only an extra pound. Here you are 15 years later, and that extra pound here and there ends up being 150 extra pounds here and there. Whatever it is. And you're almost back to where you started. So we have to do whatever we need to do to stay in the game, to keep focused on the journey. Get as much data as you can possibly do. Educate yourself on what's going on in your body, because nobody's going to do it for you. No one cares but you. So get it done. Get it done. And when you have something to fight for like this, it gives you fire to keep going. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.